Come on, man.
Hey guys.
It's just a pineapple.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Here at the Swamp, getting ready to beat LSU. Y'all tune into Rule Number 1 podcast on Monday.
Yeah. Another episode 13, partner. Man, we're getting to the thick of the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm ready. You know, we got a week away for, since we're recording this episode, got a week away to Christmas, and we're excited. We're ready to go.
Yes, we are. Tonight, we have a special guest star, Mr. Luke Abdalla. Welcome into the show, Luke.
How's it going, guys?
We're good.
Yeah, we've been wanting to get Luke on here for a while now. He's a character. He's very outspoken. He is a sales executive at Bunch Wholesale Incorporated, which they basically sell anything from dog food to chemicals, fertilizer, stuff like that to, you've got like Lowe's. Lowe's is one of y'all's big customers, right?
Well, Ace Hardware.
Yeah. And so they sell to specific stores to distribute. So
Right, yeah, we have over 30,000 products in the warehouse that we sell. We also sell from like different big-time vendors as like animal health products and different fertilizer companies that we may not stock in our warehouse, but we can, what we call a drop ship, which will come straight from the vendor's warehouse onto to the customer.
You just got this job straight out of college. You're a young guy. We all went to, Warner University together. How was, taking this job, getting into the real world, kind of affected your number one rule to live by?
Yeah, so basing my number one rule to live by, I obviously base it on what I do for a living. So my number one rule, if I had to say it, would be always do the extra for people, always do the extra for your customer. So if they, they're like, oh, I'm hungry. Okay, let's go to lunch. Or, they, man, I've been really busy trying to get some stuff done. Okay, what do you need help with? Let me help you run your business, because that's my job. Mm-hmm. Make sure they know what they're doing. Make sure they know that they can trust me for everything. So
you want to give kind of a personal experience to all of your
right.
So basically what you're saying, your number one rule to live by is be authentic kind of to your people. I like that.
And then be extra
I like
as well.
That a lot.
Always just do what other people wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Especially in sales, that's a huge thing, because you're marketing yourself, not necessarily just the product you're selling. If you could sell yourself to, your consumer, then they're gonna think, oh, well, I need 500 bags of dog feed. Well, who am I want to do business with? Well, I'm gonna call Luke.
Right, and in relationships is really big as well. So I want to know, like, for different types of things, go into a feed store, or go into a nursery. If the owner has a daughter or has a son, oh, how's your kids doing in school, or how's your family doing? How's grandma doing? I want to know like their whole family background. I want to be their best friend. I want to be the person that they call. I want to be there on the top of their list. Mm-hmm. How we say it in our company is have your business card on top.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
That's my goal, really.
Yeah, that's a good perspective, especially in sales. NASCAR, our episode 10 or 9 or something like that, we had Riley McClan on. Sorry, I can't get his name. And he was a sales executive, and he talked about how he likes to reach out to his clients and give, his personality, his experiences at the tracks to sell his product. Mm-hmm. And, you talking about, you're in the sales game too. You're talking about, I need to take this guy out to lunch. Maybe he'll, stock his store with my stuff. Maybe that's what you got to do in that world.
During the week, I go to lunch with multiple of my customers a week, or even people that I'm trying to make my customer, because where I work, it's really it's underserved. So there's a lot of opportunity where I work.
And definitely in the agriculture realm, being that I work in it too, farmers are very reliable people. So they're people that you can have a conversation with or whatever, and if you treat them well, they're going to treat you well. Right. And they do business with the same people over and over and over again. Even if they can get a better price somewhere else, if you have a relationship with them for 20 years, they continue using you and using you because you treat them well. Mm-hmm. And also another thing, if you screw over a farmer, the whole farming community talks. And
everybody talks.
Everybody will tell every single person, be like, oh, that guy from, Bunch Wholesale, he kind of did me dirty. He overcharged me on a bunch of stuff. Don't do business with him. And you go to the next client and you're like, oh, no, I'm not even going to have lunch with this guy because he screwed me over.
Is it really like that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah? Really?
Especially here in like where we're from, Polk County, it's everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Especially in the citrus industry and cattle industry as well. If a new vendor or a new salesman like me comes into the area, everybody's going to know about it.
Yeah. Everybody's going to know Luke Abdalla, new guy. This is a new guy on the block.
Yes, and they're going to know fast. And I've noticed that as well because I service a nursery that's 5 miles down the road from another nursery that wasn't on my list. Now they are, but the guy I served originally, he was talking to the guy that's 5 miles down the road. He was like, hey, there's a new guy for B.W.I. This is where I get all my I sell him a lot of nursery pots.
That's
this
crazy.
is where I get all my pots from. So he calls me out of the blue. Didn't know the guy at all. He goes, hey, I heard you're new in the area. I heard from this guy, and that guy told that guy. So my name's getting out there up there.
Good.
Just
That's
I'm
awesome,
not.
man.
Yeah, good,
area,
man.
So.
You say your name's getting out there. I want to hear this pitch. Let's say that Sprad's, big ass wholesale stock stores, feed store, whatever, needs to get some dog food. Give it to me. I'm going out with Luke
So what
Abdalla.
I would do is I go into like 2 new customers a day almost. So while I walk in, I'll talk to the owner or the purchasing agent, whoever's in charge of purchasing, and I'll just go up to them like, hey, I'm from B.W.I. Are you familiar? And they usually either say yes or no. If they say no, which they're normally not, I would say, hey, this is what we do. I hand them my business card, so they look at that. I said our website's right there, but sometimes some things that I offer that would be good in your store would be, we sell a lot of dog food. We sell Diamond dog food, Taste of the Wild dog food. I also see that you carry some high yield products. We sell all the high yield Fertilume, which is home gardening stuff. And they're like, oh, they'll usually be like, yeah, we do carry that. And I would just come up and say, we also sell a lot of grass seed as well. And up there, I work in North Florida, but up there they do a lot with deer hunting and plot mixes. So we sell a lot of deer plot mixes. So I bring that into the conversation. So then I would say, they would usually say, so what do we have to do to get set up? Well, I hand them a customer application that they fill out, and I'll walk them through it, because handing somebody a piece of paper with a lot of empty lines is a little intimidating.
Yeah.
So I'll walk them through it.
And it's kind of an inconvenience as well.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Johnny on the spot here, fill this out.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll walk them through it. If they don't want to fill it out then, that's okay. I'll come back maybe that next week or 2 weeks later and just kind of say like, I know you haven't been filling out. Usually they've just been busy. I mean, they got a business to run too. The last thing they want to do is fill out a 2-page paper, So we'll walk through the application. Then after that, I ask if I can walk around the store so I can see, okay, they carry this or they get that from this person, which is like a competition maybe. So I'll be like, hey, we also carry this, and that, like animal health products. So a lot of like vaccinations, for like cows, horses, goats, sheep, flea and tick meds.
Dewormers, probably.
Dewormers, pour-on wormers, ivermectin, all that good stuff. And then I'll just kind of talk to them, get to know them a little bit if they have time, if the store is not too busy. And then that kind of goes from there, and I'll hand them my card, and I'll call them back. If I don't hear anything from them, I'll give them a call or stuff like that. So usually that's what I'll do, and a lot of people have been happy to see me because there's not a lot of presence up there.
When you walk in, you start with this question. Like, are you familiar with us?
Yes.
Is this all like scripted? Like all the way down to the walk around the store? Or is this like your
That's just
personal
my
taste?
personal,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Nice.
A lot of the people, like there's multiple other salesmen that work for the company, and everyone does it differently. But I've taken it from, because I've rode with some of the other salesmen that have been there for 20 plus years and do really well. I just take what they have told me. So why not take it from the people that's been there a long time?
Yeah, when I worked at Bartow Ford down the road here, I thought about going into car sales. And I asked a couple of the salesmen there, I was like, hey, like, what do you do different from so-and-so?
Right.
Like the employee of the month. Like, what do you do different? And he kind of explained it to me. The guy was like, I just kind of do what best suits my personality. What makes me most authentic for people to trust and buy from me.
Yep.
So I was just curious if like B.W.I makes you guys like do a store walk, or that's the line that you guys have to say. That's just I like that. That's your own personal
kind of like
taste.
going back to my number one rule is doing the extra.
Yeah.
You know, walk around the store and see what they have. See if there's an empty spot on the shelf. Okay, what goes there? Let's see if I can fill that spot.
Right.
Nice.
Or I'll ask them, hey, what do you normally put here that's empty? Can you not get it from this person? I probably have it in my warehouse. I mean, we have 30,000 different SKUs. So, you know, we probably have it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, what are some of the perks, you know, you working with B.W.I, what are some of the perks of the job? So, obviously, you kind of have, as an outside salesman or sales executive, you kind of have free reign to kind of make your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some of those, you know, exciting things that kind of make you in your job.
Yeah, the perks is, obviously, I have free range to make my own schedule. I do, like, what I want when I want. If I want to sit in the house all day, I can if I want to. Not that I want to, because I got to get out there and
You're not making money if you're not. Yeah.
If you're not seeing people, they don't know you're there. And I also live by out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. So if you're not there, then no one will see you, and then you're just forgotten about. So, and another perk is like getting to travel everywhere. You know, I drive. So obviously my territory is North Florida. So I'm driving from Jacksonville to Tallahassee to South Georgia, and I get to see so much cool things that people normally, you know, don't get to see. A big perk also is the pays with commission and stuff.
Oh, sweet.
It's pretty cool. And but I just have to do like whatever my margin is of that month.
Yeah, so you have a certain goal you have to hit.
You know, when I went up to Jacksonville this past season to play, I saw a feed store literally like on every corner up there.
You'd be surprised.
You do a lot
because, of I do a lot of feed stores in Jacksonville, and you know, it's crazy because you think of Jacksonville, big city.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't really think of the rural side, and that's also what I get to see. Like I get to see the rural side of Jacksonville, the rural side of Tallahassee. You know, like you wouldn't think of that when you think about it, like in your head, but when you actually get out there and like drive around and you see like the farms, the forest, you know, it's actually really cool, and it's what people don't think about.
Have you seen the new equestrian center?
Yeah.
In
Ocala.
My grandpa lives up in that area. I've yet to get up there, but he tells me every time I see him, like, "Hey, you need to come up here and check this place out." Like he told me, it's the world's biggest equestrian center. Like it's got restaurants in it. It's got like a show arena.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it for the horse races or
no? It's for like equestrian.
Like the jumping,
jumping,
like the English saddle type deal.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, what's that place? Have you been there?
I've been there. I don't do anything with work there, but I've been there a time or two. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's like the world class, like because equestrian, of course, it's real classy.
Yeah.
It's real like fancy and stuff.
Elegant. It's an elegant sport.
Right. So seeing that and seeing the horses and how the horses they braid their hair, it's a whole lot different than like a rodeo, you know. They're going out there looking all, but like you got there, they're real like just proper. Everything's real proper, and it's nice. And like you said, the restaurants and everything, they have like all types of different food, and it's like you're walking into like a NFL stadium, but it's
really, it's that big.
Yeah, it's huge.
I have to check it out.
It's the world's biggest.
That's my grandpa said that. Wow. Like I was kind of skeptical. Like he's like, it's the world's biggest. I was like, okay, how big can it really
be? Pulling up like with semis, pulling their horse trailers and stuff. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, dude, I have to check that place out.
Yeah,
cool. Give that thing a look.
We should go up there. It's fun.
You grew up around horses and like kind of the cattle industry too, didn't you?
Yeah. So my grandpa, well, actually my great grandpa is the one that started it. He had a bunch of cows, and I never got to experience like the booming period of the cattle industry that we had. But my grandpa now, we don't have much anymore, but growing up, it was a whole lot of fun, like being out there and riding horses, working cows and all that fun stuff. It's something I've always dreamed about doing, and it's fun doing it now. So
that's what you do every single day, partner. It seems like I see the TikToks. I'm sure you guys see the TikToks too.
Yeah. It holds a special place in my heart. And a lot of people, you know, I leave the house at 6:30 every day, and I get back at 6:37. So I'm pulling 12-hour days pretty much every day.
And then you got the second job here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And people ask me, and they're like, Nathan, like, why do you work so much? Why do you do that? And it's like, in this industry, you absolutely have to love every bit of what you're doing, because, the pay is not necessarily always there. And then, the industry goes up and down all the time. But if you love what you do, it makes everything worth it.
Yeah. When they say, do something you love and you don't have to work a day in your life, I totally believe that.
Yeah.
It may be hard work doing some stuff like in the ag industry and stuff like that, but if you enjoy it, you gotta love it.
I feel like the whole ag industry as a whole will say that too, because obviously you got the sales side of ag, which you can make pretty good money in the sales side of ag, and then the veterinaries, large animals, and then you got the owners, and those are pretty much the three jobs where you make good money in ag. Everything else, it's rough. It's like you're not paying top dollar generally,
For sure.
And so whenever you have those workers or the farmers or whatever, because just because you own a farm doesn't mean you're making crazy money either.
Right.
It goes up and down. And you'll get that all over the whole industry. It's like they do it because you see the results. Like you'll take a calf from the minute it was born to the minute it dies, and they appreciate it. And yeah, it kind of sounds gruesome, like, oh, you just raised it to be killed, but you love the calf the whole way through because you get to see it grow the whole time.
Exactly.
But
speaking of which, the agriculture world is changing a lot. You both of you guys work in it. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, in this game? Like, do you want to stay in it, or?
Yeah, I definitely want to stay into like the sales side of things. And of course I love the ag side sales of things. So obviously 10 years from now, I'd love to still be with the company I'm with now, because I love it. I love what I do. It's fun. It's something new every day. It's not like you're waking up, you're going to do the same thing every day. Like, I see something different every day. I get a different phone call every day. So it's cool. I love it. So in 10 years, I'm hoping, and to be married, and then also be in the same job I am now. But like, I want to be like top dog.
Yeah. You want to be the guy there.
That's my
okay.
goal, like to be top dog in 10 years, which I'm doing pretty good now. But there's also them other salesmen, like I said, that's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, they have reoccurring customers as well.
They have their guys,
right? And they're set on a set schedule. Like, I was riding with one guy, and it was a Wednesday, and he walked into this one customer, and the customer said, "You're late." Yeah,
dude, we've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah,
you're 5 minutes late.
Yeah, you're 5 minutes late. Like, I usually get here at 12 o'clock, or you're here at 12:15. What's wrong? I was scared you weren't going to come today.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I want to be on that level with the customer,
Yeah. You'll get there. You're very personable, very social.
And I've only been out in the field since October, so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, speaking of that, you started out in storefront, correct? Y'all have a whole storefront where people can come in and talk to you.
So we also, with B.W.I, so they're based out of Apopka here in Florida, near Orlando. And so they also have what we call the showroom. And it's a bunch of people come in there because they just want something that's like, okay, we just need one bottle of pesticides, or we just need one bag of dog food. So like, we'll come in and they'll say, okay, can I get this, this, and this? And it's right there at the storefront. And we also sell to like walk-up customers as well. So if they want, like, if someone off the street wants to come in and buy a bag of soil that we sell, that may be Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that don't sell, they can come get it there. So that's what they put me there for training regimens. Mm-hmm. So I was in there for like 5 months right out of college, and it was I learned a lot. I also was riding with salesmen that were local in the area. So I learned a lot in there, and I learned how to use the computer system that we use, because sometimes it can be challenging. So
I saw his face when he said that. He was like, challenging.
Technology's crazy. If you don't
you gotta stay on the wave. You
right. Because I'm by myself the whole time. It's not like I could go to my boss and be like, hey, well, how do I do this, this, and this? Like, I got to figure it out. So I used me being in there a lot, as
so your training period.
Right. I asked as many questions as I could.
That's what you got to do.
Right. Like, closed mouth don't get fed, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking about your whole training experience. They shipped you out to Texas, correct?
Right. So the company is based out of Texas. It started in Texarkana, and it's still in Texarkana. So it's a family-based company. And one of the cool things they did with that, was so the owners of the company own a big ranch out there, and they raise nothing but Texas Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
So they put you in one of the houses out there, and it was just they have a pond that's fully stocked of bass. So
that's
we were
awesome.
like we'd go train. I was there with another kid that got hired on to work in Arkansas, and he was there with me, so he liked to fish too. And they put rods in. There's like a little John boat there for you and everything, because it's a pretty big pond. And we would go to the office and train all day and sit through meetings and stuff. And then as soon as we got off, we'd go fishing. Like it was cool. I was out there for a week. It was awesome. It's a beautiful place.
Did you do any of the catfish noodling that they do out there?
No, I didn't get in the water.
No.
No, you ain't got to worry about gators out there, but I still didn't get in the water.
That's funny.
But it's fun.
You've also spent a lot of time out in Texas, haven't you? You've
I've
been out
to
there
Texas
on vacation and everything.
quite a bit, especially when I was young, like working with the cattle and stuff. We used to I used to ride out there with my grandpa and people that used to work for us, and we used to ride out there and take cattle to feedlots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool,
So
man.
it was on the semi, like riding to Texas is pretty cool.
Pretty sure you got some cool stories to tell about that.
Yeah.
Give me one.
So I can tell you one off the top. I was young. I was like 13 or 14, and we were riding out to Texas, and there was another truckload full of cows, not our cows, some other cattle ranch was in front of us, and hauling livestock, I don't know if any of y'all have done it, but it's not safe at all. Like it's dangerous, you know,
hard.
especially hauling like.
Well, you got
cow.
43,000 pounds moving back and forth.
Yes, and it's not like you're hauling 43 pounds of water that's just, you know, staying there.
Yeah.
With cows, they're moving and they're packed in there, so they're not comfortable at all. Well, there was a guy in front of us, and we were just going down this little back road almost to the feedlot, and I could see his back of his trailer that he was hauling was going back like this. So I was thinking, oh, it's just swaying. Well, they were hauling bulls, and they were not happy to be in the trailer. So somehow this bull got enough courage to bust out the side of it.
Out of the trailer?
Yeah, and his whole like front two legs and head was hanging out the trailer. And then like my uncle got on the CB, and he was like, hey, you got a cow out. So the guy pulled over and finally got it figured out. But that was just one of the crazy stories that I've
That's
seen.
one pissed off bull.
Yeah, I was about to say those trailers are like they're aluminum, I believe.
They're aluminum.
Yeah, they're thick aluminum.
Yeah,
but
they're thick.
That's wild.
I guess it was just an old trailer. I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I bet.
Dude, I bet.
That's cool to hear that side of things, because, you know, whenever we ship calves out to market, we ship them out to feedlots as well.
Right.
And so, but how we do it is we'll contract them out from a company, and they'll ship them out for us. And then either we can partner with the feedlot and go half in on, to explain to everybody what a feedlot is they get cattle in and they'll raise them. And a lot of times they'll get them in around July, August time. And your goal is to have a calf about 500, 550 pounds around that area. And typically the beef market is highest in April. And so they try to feed these calves all the way up into April, and then they'll slaughter them around 1,200 to 1,400 pounds. So a little backstory. But so I've always seen the side of raise a cattle, then get them there. I've never seen them as soon as they get to the feedlot, you know, how they've raised, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. You'll pull up on these 100-acre feedlots, and they'll have like 5 or 6 different like 10-acre pastures, you know, just all sectioned off. And there's no like grass. It's out in West Texas, so there ain't much out there. But
It's all grain.
Yeah, it's all grain. They just feed them.
You know, I know you go to Texas a lot. You went to the stockyards not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
Who'd you see there?
Actually, Kid Rock was playing at Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
So I got to experience that. So that was pretty cool. We actually got lucky with that.
I know, but you told me a story about a certain artist that I'm a big fan of that you saw at a bar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that was actually not in the stockyards. That was at Texas Live.
Oh, okay.
So we went, it was this past football season when Dallas Cowboys were playing the Chiefs in the playoffs, the first round. Well, we just went out there. We weren't even going for that. But right next to the Cowboy Stadium, there's a place called Texas Live. And that's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And like the Dallas Cowboy Stadium was right next to the Texas Rangers Stadium.
Yeah.
So this big place, like it all connects everything to the both stadiums.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have this one bar in there. It's called the PBR, like the Professional Bull Riding Bar. It's called Cowboy Bar. And we were just in there hanging out. I was sitting at the bar. My buddy was behind me. And I just look into like the VIP section. And I'm like, just kind of look. And I'm like, that's Co Wetzel.
East Texas Jesus.
I'm like, that's Co Wetzel. And my buddy's like, where? I said, look right there. He goes, oh my God, it's Co Wetzel. And by that time, the whole bar knew. And like everybody was running over there and stuff. And we actually got like right up next to VIP, and he had a bottle of Jack Daniels and was pouring everybody shots. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
So it was
That's my
great.
guy. That's my guy.
Dude, it was amazing. But like, yeah, the Texas and Stockyards area, Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth area, it holds a special place in my heart. I love.
I want to make it out there so bad, man. You see all these like TikToks and like viral videos of people sitting out there, even like of all the bars, and even when they move cattle through there, still.
Yeah, they still do the
And
long
I really
want
to see that, man.
It's amazing. It's all like traditions and history. So much on the bricks right there.
Yeah.
The brick road of exchange. Like it's amazing. It's something that we all got to see.
You know what? I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was about a podcast, and they were talking about the cattle industry. And something that blew my mind, which I didn't know that this whole persona, I knew there were kind of things about it. People talk about like grass-fed beef and everything, them going to market, and a lot of people love that whole organic side of it. Well, this person was talking, I knew it was a little rigged. It's more of like a propaganda thing. And if you ask any farmer from the organic side or the, non-organic side, they'll tell you the same thing. The consumer doesn't quite understand that.
Right.
But I saw something that the lady was saying, the only thing the farmer has to do to get the grass-fed like label is they can't feed grain for the last 90 days of the calf's life. I didn't realize that. And so they can get whatever kind of shots, vaccinations, anything,
Right.
Up until those 90 days, and then they could only be grass-fed through the rest of the life.
Are we going to have to like fact check that, or do you know like that's
what I saw on the podcast.
I believe it, because if you think about it, the last 90 days is, you got to think of like the system and they're pushing everything out.
Yeah.
So if you you feed grain to a certain weight and then
grass,
you just grass them.
then it's considered grass fed. And there's another $2 on top of that.
You could think though, like there wouldn't be any type of grain or anything in it.
Yeah.
It's
already out of its system.
Right. It's out of its system.
Huh.
which is crazy. So the consumer, though, in their mind, is it's grass fed the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
But really, it could be a year old.
That's the way it is with a lot of different things, like the organic, drinks or like fruits that you see in stores.
I'm saying right now, from a agriculture side, it's very rigged for all the consumers out there.
I don't want to start any wars over it.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's a conversation for another.
Off the air, we can go and have a couple of drinks and discuss
we can talk about that for hours.
Yeah, Luke and I both were agriculture majors at Warner, so we can get into this a little bit
for sure.
But
I still want to get out there though, man. Like, you said it brings history to life. I want to see the bricks. I want to see that sign in person.
Oh,
man.
dude,
I'm sitting here thinking about it. Yeah.
Right now, like I'd go tomorrow if I didn't have to go.
I'd go right now. Somebody said, "Hey guys,
do not tempt me, Brian.
We'll get on the next flight out."
I swear, it's not too expensive. We get on Spirit. Come on.
How about you?
You've been to the NFR too, haven't you?
Yeah. So it was actually pretty cool to be a part of that as well. So I went to the NFR when it was in Dallas, and usually it's out in Vegas. So they brought it to Dallas due to COVID because Vegas was shut down still. Mm-hmm. And to me personally, I feel like it should be in Dallas every year because it kind of brings out the cowboy standpoint. Like,
for our guests that don't know what the NFR is,
it's a National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah, it's a National Finals Rodeo, and they
basically the World Series, the Super Bowl of
the Super Bowl rodeo.
Yeah,
if you want to put it like that. And they do it based off of money earnings throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So they take the top 15 from each rodeo event, which is how they do it. Would be, what did they start off? Oh, they start off with bareback riding, then steer wrestling, then team roping, then saddle bronc, and then it goes into tie down, and then barrel racing, and bull riding. So
this is people all over the world, right? Like all over.
Yeah. So like I had a good buddy in there this year. This past NFR just got over a couple weeks ago from Canada, and it was his first time in the NFR, and he was a saddle bronc rider, and he actually did really well. Ended up winning 3 rounds out of 10.
Nice. What was his name again?
Logan Hay.
Yeah, I was trying to get him on the podcast. I had a couple people mention, they were like, "Hey, you should reach out to him." Reached out to him, haven't heard anything, so you should maybe.
I would love to have somebody on from that realm of the world. I know we've tried a couple different routes with it that hadn't pulled through yet, but I know it's coming. I can't wait to
he's a real cool guy too. He actually, how I got to know him, he dates one of my really good friends I grew up with, Emily, and she that's her. They started dating. She brought him around here a couple of times, and he's a really cool cat. He's somebody that would be really good on.
So he's a Canadian bull rider?
No, saddle bronc.
Saddle bronc. Yeah. So even crazier.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet this guy. Hopefully we can meet this guy, get him on one day.
That'd be cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll have to shout him out.
I love that. Yeah, whenever you said his name, I was like, wait a second. I think I know this guy.
Yeah, he did really good. His first time qualifying for the NFR, he did really good. And the NFR was just such a lot of records broke, and this year. And when I went to Texas and I got to see it firsthand in Texas for I don't know if it was the first time, but it was the first time in a while. And they went back to Vegas the next year, so I don't know if he'll ever come back to Dallas. So it was pretty cool to be a part of that.
I want to talk a little bit about old Rocker.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So he's saddle bronc too, right?
No, he does bareback.
Bareback. Okay.
All right, tell me who this guy is.
And so Rocker. We'll get into that in a second. Rocker, he's a bareback bronc rider, and he got absolutely crucified all over social media because he rode the crap out of this bronc. Should have a great score. He hops off, and he's fired up. He's thinking he's got a high 88, 90 score, and it's an 84, which for y'all that it's 84 is it's decent, very average, whatever.
The goal to get a 92, 90. That's what you want every time.
Yeah, and so and he rode the piss out of this bronc, and he hops off and he's fired up, throwing his hat, whatever, and they go 84. And then you could see on the camera, he mouths "What the f do I have to do to get a good score?"
Yeah.
And so, I think they fined him too.
Yeah, they fined him a pretty big check, and I don't know the amount or anything, but that's just how he is though. The kid, he's one of them rockers. His name's Rocker, but he lives up to the name. You know?
Yeah.
So and his dad. His dad was a big saddle bronc rider as well. Went to the NFR a couple times.
He was bulldogger.
Yeah.
He bulldogged.
But he was just like him. So every time Rocker gets off a horse that he rode, he's just fired up, man. And his dad was the same way. So he just says that. I mean, if I'm sitting there riding a horse,
I'll be fired up too.
Even
if I don't have the best ride, I'm gonna be fired up on adrenaline and just be like, whoa.
Yeah, so it kind of just came out off adrenaline.
Yeah.
He ended up winning a round, Rocker did. So he just think about it, though, he's only 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he's riding
talent.
it.
Very young.
Talent.
Dude, you're gonna hear his name a whole lot more.
Yeah. And especially what Luke was saying, he's a firecracker. Him and his dad both, there was flashbacks of I think it was in the 90s when his dad was competing, and he did cornrows. Well, Rocker ended up doing cornrows on one of his rides too. And it's just they kind of don't give a crap what people think. Just go out there, compete.
Right.
Which you see that in the sports world today. They're kind of just for instance, baseball, let the kids play. The guys out there rides the absolute crap out of this bronc, is fired up, and then they give him a bad score. I mean, you feel like you put your all out there, and then it wasn't enough for somebody. Right. Of course you're going to be fired up. You're a competitor. Right. You're on the biggest stage in all of rodeo, and they're not wanting that good. And it's what the heck? Are you kidding me?
Well, my thing is sports is driven by passion nowadays. You look at every sport, that's changed, right? Mm-hmm. NFL football, what wasn't legal 3 or 4 years ago? Touchdown sellies. There was no dancing in the end zone, spiking of football. There's none of that. But guess what? The NFL changed it. Now they're getting more fans because they get to see that kind of crazy stuff.
Just stuff for NFL and stuff. I look at it as entertainment purposes.
Yes, baseball too. 10 years ago, you didn't see somebody bat flip a home run and run the bases.
Or pimp it and hit it and walk. You don't.
The MLB put a stop to it right then and there. But nowadays it's all over every highlight graphics on ESPN's cover. Oh, there's Juan Soto. He just hit a home run. His bat went 40 feet up in the air. But I feel like they shouldn't crucify that guy for showing emotion in a sport. because that's what fans want to see. They want to see the passion. They want to see what goes into it.
Well, you see in NASCAR, Riley was talking about in one of the episodes, they have had a huge growth in numbers because they have related it back to the younger crowd. Like they were having these virtual races where the younger crowd could see all these races during COVID time. And it had jumped their numbers drastically because they're pulling that younger crowd in. Well, I feel like all sports is doing that now. The younger crowd wants to see, for instance, the baseball games moving quicker. They don't want to sit there for 4 hours. They want it to be high pace, go out there, hit home runs, strike people out, make crazy plays. Football, they want them to do crazy stuff. Right. And I feel like you have to adjust with times. You can't just stay in those traditional deals.
I feel like that's kind of where, all the sports that we have in the market here in the United States is kind of moving forward. Like last year, NASCAR's opening race stopped in the middle of the event for Pitbull to perform 3 songs just for, whatever audience would come in to watch Pitbull perform 3 songs. But the guy owns a NASCAR team, so you can justify it.
Yeah,
it's still helping the sport.
Yeah.
But, you think of, all the professional bull riding and the rodeo, you don't really see that, progression into, trying to get younger viewers or more hip. I don't see it. I don't see any advertising. I guess I'm not in the market for it, but.
Yeah, it's yes and no, just because the whole rodeo scene is very a select kind of people.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Like, for instance, if somebody has an opportunity to be like, hey, do you want to go to rodeo? They're like, oh, yeah, that sounds fun. I'll go. But it's not, it's more of, how would you explain this?
So,
it's more of a niche.
Right. So, you can say, I can go get anybody else, that I know, hey, man, want to go to a rodeo?
I'd be in.
Yeah, it's fun to go watch it, but do you really understand what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're on the team rope and someone says, oh, the header broke the barrier.
I would have no idea. I'd be like, what the heck's that mean?
Oh, he caught 1 foot, or what does that mean? Okay, 5-second penalty. It's one thing to go watch something, but it's another thing to understand it.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people that love rodeo understand rodeo, but a lot of them people I just love to go watch. They don't really understand what's going on and the rules behind it. And
that's exactly how NASCAR is. What y'all just said,
yes.
You have to know the rules. Like I said, I guarantee if I said, hey, I bet you don't know the speeding penalty, what it is in NASCAR pit road, what they have to do.
I know they got to slow down a little bit, but I couldn't tell you.
They have to go back around and come back through pit road at pit road speed. That's a penalty. But people get invested in it and they learn all the rules and all the teams, all the sports, like you say.
That's how I am with rodeo and stuff. Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you have to do to get people hooked on those kinds of sports is take them to them. If I want to get you hooked on NASCAR, Luke, I'm going to be like, hey, let's go to the Daytona 500 next year.
Actually, I went to a Daytona 500 one time, but I was real young.
You didn't get to have the 500
I could tell you who won, though.
Who won?
Kevin Harvick.
Nice.
It was the little the photo finish.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And I was sitting right on the checkered. I was 8 years old. I could tell you. I guess I could tell you everything that happened.
See, I think it's funny because the last time I went to a true rodeo event, I was about that age. My parents got tickets, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to a rodeo tonight?" And I'm like,
go to Silver
yeah,
Spurs.
sure, yeah,
Silver Spurs.
So I have no idea. I was so young, but it was I was going watching. I had no idea what I was watching, but it was cool though. I'd like to go back now and kind of learn, get into it.
I'm definitely going to go to some rodeos this year. So or this coming up.
You got to let me know. Luke,
take me.
Luke and I went to Silver Spurs. What was it, last year? Right?
Yeah.
And Silver Spurs, it's one of the oldest events, right?
Yeah, it's 100. I think this year would be the 145th anniversary or something.
Right down the road in Kissimmee, right?
Yeah, it's in Kissimmee, Florida. And so that was a blast. I mean, we had a great time, and
definitely running that back.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, we had a good time. We were sitting out in front of racetrack right before we went in there, smashing hot dogs. So
I remember you were doing your hot dog reviews. Yeah, dude, you got to bring those back you got to post those on TikTok.
Yeah.
People would love that.
So I had a little private story before I even started doing TikTok, and I would do the most random things. I would rate hot dogs from each gas station and give them a 1 to 10 review. But
I still think Racetrack has the best dog.
Racetrack definitely.
I'm a
has the
Circle K
best
guy,
dogs.
man. The new Circle K guys, over there.
The hot dog on the Circle K is good.
Yeah.
The bun is trash.
Yeah, the bun
Okay.
brings in a big factor of all that.
All right,
I think that might have to be a clip for Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. I think hot dog talk is going to be pop.
Definitely got to get that in there.
Enough hot dog water talk.
hot dog water. We do not. Hold on. You cannot boil hot dogs. That is a sin.
Really?
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I
we
do
got
grill.
them on the rollers.
I do grill. I like a charcoal.
Yeah.
grill.
No, we're not boiling hot dogs around here.
Yeah,
that
no
water
shot.
is filthy.
Yeah, gross.
How much would it take for you to drink the hot dog water?
500.
That's it.
Bucks
$500. I'll drink hot dog
straight
water.
to the gullet.
Yeah.
I'll go get the cash right
You're
now.
talking like 3 liters.
Boil up some dogs. Let's do it. $500.
Bro. No.
Oh man,
That's filthy.
that might be a TikTok special coming right there.
Oh,
I know he's serious though. Look, he's serious.
bro, that's nasty.
Nasty.
Y'all asked. I answered. We're going.
I'm gonna get the
I guess they don't-
cheapest hot dogs I can
All right,
find.
you got to do all that. They got to be ballpark franks. Come on now.
No, Nathan's hot dogs every time,
Yes.
man.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm on the Nathan train. Too.
It's almost like a stew when you think about it, though. You got hot dogs in the water, and you're making your own kind of hot dog
gross.
soup.
Have you ever reviewed Nathan hot dogs?
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
yeah, they're fantastic.
Try it
You
out.
kidding me? 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Going hard for the Nathan sponsor here. But anyways, back on topic. I think this is a good time, to get into our snap questions, guys, to get the Luke outside of sales and outside of hot dog water and outside of rodeo and travel.
Perfect.
I like it. Do you want to ask the first one?
Yeah, sure. I'll
Go
take it. Luke, we ask this question to every single one of our guests. If you could have 3 people out to dinner that are alive, who would they be and why?
I definitely have my great grandpa, C.W. Harrison. I never got to meet him, and my mom tells me stories and everything, and how they were like real close. And he had of course, he's the one that started all the cattle industry in the family and everything. Not as big as he used to be, but that's a part of our family, and a lot of stuff we talk about still to this day. And that's definitely one of them. And I just want to sit down and talk to him. And number 2 would probably be Tom Brady.
Nice. A real winner.
Yeah, I know it's probably said a lot, but I'd really love to sit down and talk
Have we
to
had
him.
Tom Brady? Trey Matthews, I think, was the only one that said.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway.
But yeah, Tom Brady for sure. Just to pick his brain,
Yeah.
What's something like? How do you
stay in shape? That's what
Yes,
I'd ask.
He's 40-something years old,
And he looks like he's a peak athlete.
yeah,
Man. Like,
and
I
he's
don't get it.
like balling. So
I want to hear real quick about Tom Brady. I want to hear what all the drama is going on with like his ex-wife, I guess.
I'm not
now.
really
Yeah.
sure where they stand right now.
I think divorce settled.
Yeah.
Did it?
No, I think it's like, I
Yeah, the
think they're
divorce
done.
is done.
I just knew most eligible bachelor in Florida now.
Yeah, I saw a quote from her, and it basically said once Tom moved to Florida, like he became a quote unquote Florida man.
I think that was fake. I think that
Had
was
to be.
fake.
He was like- He was like, I saw that too, and she
I
was
think I
like,
sent it to you.
yeah, he was like, he bought a Salt Life sticker for his truck.
Yeah. That was
Flow
fake.
grown sticker on his windshield.
He wouldn't wear shirts into the grocery store, and he had
Yeah.
this tan leathery
Hey,
skin.
Florida did it to you. That sun did it to you.
Oh, it will.
It make you feel like that. I have a question. Well, you didn't give us a third
Yeah,
person. We need a third.
Third person would be. Dang it! I had it and then I lost it.
It's
Hold
okay.
on. Probably Lane Frost.
Ooh,
What's
hey,
going on?
Lane Frost for sure. Yeah. 8 seconds.
yeah.
8 seconds is one of my favorite movies, and just like I go into like deeper, like to hear stories about him and saying like he was one of like the nicest guys like you'll ever meet.
That's
and
cool. That's a unique
like,
three.
and like usually like these big rodeo stars, they don't really pay attention to a lot of the outside world. I know like the older, like during his time, but he was always the guy that was going up to the kids and signing autographs and doing all this stuff for everybody. But that was like, now it's like everyone like talks to everybody and everything. But back then, like during his day, it was just like
Everybody was like, yeah,
focus,
on
there was a
yourself.
lot of competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just would like to talk to him. And
okay, I want to ask you about this. You have a professional quarterback, a bull rider, and your grandpa who's worked in the cattle industry. Where are you taking them? You got to get like a nice steakhouse
probably
or
like
something.
Texas Roadhouse.
What? Just Texas Roadhouse?
They got a good steak. They got a good steak.
I'm asking you, any place in the world, you do not have to pay for it. Me and Nate will pay for it anywhere. And you're going to say Texas Roadhouse, dog?
Bro, you acting like that's a bad restaurant.
It's not, but like for this, like
No, but
this
you
once
think
in a
of
lifetime dinner.
Yeah, you think of all these like high-end steakhouse, and like you're taking Tom Brady
love
and
it.
Lane Frost out. Yeah, we're gonna go get some rolls at the Roadhouse.
Yeah, I
Now
love
we're
it.
gonna watch them line dance.
Every hour on the hour.
I love it.
I'm
love
sorry.
It. Oh my
That-
gosh, I can see Lane Frost and Tom Brady walking in this place. But yeah, get a nice steak here.
What kind of shit
Yeah.
was that?
It's like one of my favorite restaurants, bro.
No, we're not. We're not. No,
it's
we're
good.
not. We're not. We're just like for the occasion. I
Right.
mean, I love Texas Roadhouse, love the rolls and everything, but like the occasion, that's just kind of threw me for
They
a
have
whirl.
great butter.
They did.
You know, I'm thinking like Texas Cattle Company or something like kind of a higher
That came
end.
across the mind.
Burn
but, like,
Steakhouse, like
Let's
something
go
like
drink
that.
some beers at Texas Roadhouse.
All right, our next snap question for you. You know, Luke, we all came together in college. You know, we kind of met each other there, grew up. You know, in
These
the
past
same,
4 years, for
yeah,
sure.
together.
Yeah.
And you know, the question that's being asked nowadays, especially in our friend group, is college really worth it for people? You know, you got trade schools, you got young entrepreneurs who might not need to go to college; they just want to chase their own dreams.
Yes.
So, knowing what you know now, would you go back to your 18-year-old self and tell them to go to college or not?
I would say yes, because not mainly like for like the job standpoint, which I understand that that's a big problem. Like it's a big like stepping stone into it, but just like relationships and living your life them 4 years. It's just such a good time. Like I've made like y'all two are like two friends that I'll have for a very long time, and I got a bunch of other friends that are like that, you know. But that also, and you grow up a little bit,
Yeah.
you know.
Not a little bit, a lot of it.
Yeah, you grow up a lot, you know, and I know a lot of kids, like I don't really know them personally, but I've just heard stories that they get out of high school and go straight to work and kind of like fall through because they don't know much about like the real world. And I feel like in college you get just a little bit of piece of it.
It's like a
Yeah.
buffer period.
Right.
Yeah.
That kind of helps you out a lot, you know? And so, yeah, I would tell myself to go to college just because you learn a lot about, you know, yourself, and you learn a lot about what you want to do
Yeah.
for your career. So,
Yeah, and it also gives you kind of that opportunity whenever, you know, you see college kids all the time change their major or they go into
Yeah.
school undecided. And they kind of figure it out through there. Whenever you jump right in from 18 to the workforce, and this is, I'm not saying I'm for or against going to college. I'm just giving a perspective. Whenever you jump into the workforce, you could change your jobs 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And finally, you get to that 22 age mark and you're like, well, I think I finally figured out what I want to do. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's kind of how I was too. I didn't know much what I wanted to do going into college, but then once I got there, I met a guy, and he was in ag sales, and he told me to look around. We were in a Publix in the produce section, and of course, what you see around here, like orange groves are like, it's like kind of a problem with orange groves right now. But he's like, look around, like the vegetable produce section. So I looked around. He goes, everything in this store, and especially in this section, has to do with ag.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere because all this stuff still has to.
People's
get
got to
here.
eat.
Yeah. People's got to
You know.
use it. It's got to
So
be used.
it's that right there kind of like put me into like the perspective that I wanted to do.
I'm glad that you said that about, you know, the connections, because that's where going back, if I had to answer that question, it's exactly why I would say yes. Just because of all the people I've met. You know, I went to 2 schools. Not a lot of people get to do that. So I met a lot of people down south that I'll know for the rest of my life where I went to school, and I went to here at Warner, and I'm going to know a ton of people. Like,
Yes.
And I wouldn't have that if I didn't go to school. You know, I'd have been stuck in my small town with one red light, knowing the same people my whole life.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. But that would be my reason too. Just the
100%.
connecting. You gonna ask the next one?
Sure. Luke, so, you know, we talked about agriculture. We talked about your sales position. You know, you're kind of where you want to be in 10 years. If you could get paid top dollar to do your dream job, what would your dream job be?
My dream job would be owning my own ranch.
Nice. Yeah.
Or like a big like outfit, you know.
Like a Dutton? Like a John Dutton?
something like
Yeah,
that.
like a
Maybe
Yellowstone
not
Dutton.
like
Yeah.
maybe not like all
That
the
comes
problems.
with a lot of stress.
Right. It does come with a lot of problems and stress and everything, but I would love to have something that big, you know.
Yeah.
I would just
Got to
just-
delegate everything if you have something that big. Be like,
You
hey,
know?
you are in charge of this pasture. You're in charge of that pasture.
Yeah, but that would be my dream job, you know, and being able to get up on a horse every day and just go ride and do something like
Would
that.
you like to do it out there though, like in that area of the country? Like
I'd like to do it
anywhere.
I'd like to do it in Florida.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of
I can tell you right now, I'd like to do it in Florida, and I'd like to raise purebred Angus
in Florida
in Florida.
with the Florida heat and everything. You wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
I love this state.
Yeah.
Trust me.
A lot of people do.
Up north, you go to Montana, then winters, you don't want to deal with Catalina.
You're dealing with that opens up a whole new book of problems.
Yeah.
You got to have this cow here, that cow there. During this time of year, you got 5 inches of snow. Okay, we got to make sure.
Yeah,
this
that's
cow's
true.
not
That is true. It's just more
freezing to
headaches,
death.
I guess.
You got to have running water to be able to water them.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if it's
true.
sitting, it's frozen.
Oh man,
Exactly.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a whole lot of things to think about.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Our next question for you, Luke, the last one we're going to ask you of our snap questions was kind of, sprung upon us as a snap question last episode with Jacob Cooper, and I really liked it because I just think it's unique. I don't think not a lot of people would answer this. But if you could go back to any American U.S. history event,
Time period.
Yeah. What are you going back to?
Probably like the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
You're going back to the very beginning?
1776. Well,
Yeah.
Really?
And just think about it. Like you're starting a country.
Yeah, that
And
is
everyone
true.
that's in that room, like all the big names and everything that signed the Declaration of Independence, I'd love to be there.
Really?
I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You're going to
I
hop
want
on
to
your
dress
horse.
up like that too.
The big wigs.
What? The boys were doing it back then.
Yeah, they were.
So are you going to be the whole John Hancock? I don't know if you know the story, but they're all the founding fathers in that room. And I said 1776. Technically, the Declaration of Independence was before 1776. But it was kind of cool, because I heard the story, and it was John Hancock was a guy who was like, you know what? Everybody's looking around to sign this piece of paper. I'm going to be the first one. And it's a big signature, right? Slap in the middle.
And that's why everyone says, can you get your John Hancock?
Yeah, because
it's
everybody
so
else's signature's
big.
this small on it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I looked like he was really
he was proud of what he was signing.
He was
That's what I was
mad.
trying to say,
He was
yeah.
there was passion behind it.
He goes,
Yeah.
I'll be the first one, and my
Yeah.
signature's going to
Big
stand
ol'
out.
like a good USA guy would nowadays. Like, oh
Big ol'
boy.
F you.
He's like,
to
let's
the-
just sign
Yeah.
this thing,
If you want to come get somebody, come get me, son of a gun.
Right. I'm ready.
If you could go back, it wouldn't be called the John Hancock anymore. It'd be the Luke Abdalla. I'm going to sign my Luke Abdalla.
Right. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
Imagine that kind of courage, though. Like you're at a meeting like that, and you're under oppression of this,
Regime.
literally the best country in the world at the time. The
military.
strongest military, whatever.
Right.
And you're a bunch of farmers and guys that just barely know even the land that you're living in, and you're like, yeah, screw
it.
y'all, I'm done. And you're literally declaring war.
Do y'all think that they knew how big it could be when they signed it?
Like how big the country, would
I
the
think
United States would end up being?
Right.
I don't think so, because I don't think they knew what was past certain links.
I think they had dreams of this is what we can do here, and we know we're so oppressed. We want to do different. We're going to follow what we can do right here.
Right.
And so,
yeah, I think I always think back to that. Like, I wonder if they thought we'd be driving cars or
No.
yeah, 100%. Like they wouldn't know that, but I wonder if what they thought when they were saying what's it going to be like in 20 years?
Yeah.
They were probably hoping to build something kind of like the British Empire, but just with more freedom. That's what I would assume.
yeah.
Because that was the most successful empire
Well, I'm
back in
glad
the
they
world.
signed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
God bless USA.
I'm glad they threw the tea in the river because I drink coffee every morning, boy.
I was about to say, we've talked about some real American episodes this topic.
Yeah.
The Revolution, rodeo,
The American
Texas, wholesale stores,
Yeah.
feed stores, agriculture. We've hit them all.
Yeah, man.
Real American episode here on the week of Christmas too, bud.
Yeah, we're so excited, and maybe we might have one little Christmas snippet come in right before the Christmas deal.
Who knows?
Yeah, it might be a little surprise for y'all. So
Maybe we might drop our next episode day of Christmas.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
A little early episode.
Yeah, a little early episode. We
Day
got a cool
before,
guest star
December
coming on.
25th. So we'll see.
Yeah, Luke, thank you so much for coming on today's
Thank
show.
you guys
and,
for having me.
Your personality. We love you, dude. We grew up with you. We knew you were going to do big things, and now you're on to this big wholesale job. You seem to love it.
It's fun.
So sky's the limit.
That's right.
I can't wait for you to get there.
Yeah, and another cool thing that we do at the end of every episode is we'll shout Luke's social media out, and we'll be following him on Instagram. And so if y'all want to check out kind of some of the stuff that he gets into, or or interested in buying some dog food or wholesale products from
Come
Luke,
talk to me.
you could direct message him, and y'all can find him on our following list. So
Rule 1 Podcast, all of our socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. That's it, right? Snapchat too. And you can find those all on our LinkedIn, which is attached to our Instagram page. All the pages, it's all connected somehow, some way.
yeah, if you find us on one, you'll find us on all, everything.
Another great episode of the Rule 1 Podcast, partner.
Yeah, we're excited for next week. We got a couple more exciting episodes in store, so y'all keep tuning in. We appreciate y'all.
Luke, thank you so much, partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. Until next week.
See y'all.